Okay, hold on. Glenn, do you have the, do you want the
I do, I have
agenda? Okay, you have it.
Thank you.
I think everybody's here. Brendan.
Oh, Brendan is calling. No, Brendan is calling. Didn't he?
Brendan's going to call
No,
in.
Tim.
Yeah, Tim's on.
If he can make it, yeah.
Might be on the phone.
Okay.
How's your husband?
I could do it.
Hello?
Yes?
Hey, Bob, it's Brendan.
Okay, Brad, yeah, I'm just going to call. I have it 5:59. Waiting for another minute to call the meeting to order. Good.
Okay.
Good, you got it there. Yes, okay, here we go. Yeah, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. The O-Line Parks and Rec meeting for today, January 6, 2022. Okay, first we're taking the PRC attendance, and we have Mary Ellen, Glenn, myself, John, and Don here. And Missy, you're there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Brendan, we just heard from you. You're there. And Tim,
Yep.
you're there. Okay. Yep. So I think then we have all the Parks and Rec commissioners are either in telephone land or here. And so that's good. We have the first item on the agenda is to approve the previous meeting minutes. And I just had one correction, Mary Ellen.
Okay.
That on the part with new business about submitting the all the legal paperwork concerning fencing of Haynes Park, that Selectman Griswold surveys the first Selectman Griswold regarding installation of new fence at Haynes Park. Mr. Griswold then submitted to the town attorney, not land use, because the land use, Dan Beret, told me that's confusing because it's not one of his attorneys, it's Jack Collins' group.
So Selectman Griswold submitted to the town attorney.
Yeah, so would you please just change that to the town attorney?
Okay.
Okay, that's the only thing I found.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Anybody else in the Park and Rec have any other additions or subtractions to the last month's meeting?
No.
Nothing for me.
No, okay. And Tim and Missy, anything from you guys?
Nope, nothing for me.
Oh.
No.
Okay, okay. So, will someone make a motion to approve the minutes from our December 2nd meeting, please? And pending the one change.
All right, I'll move to accept the minutes of the December meeting with the change that Selectman Griswold will submit to the town attorney, not to land use.
Okay.
I wasn't here, so I can't.
Okay, yeah.
I'll second it.
Okay, any more, we have the motion seconded. Any more discussion on it? No, hearing none. Okay, all those in favor of accepting or approving the last month's meeting, please say aye or...
Aye.
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 Okay, anyone opposed? Not hearing anyone opposed, and anybody abstain? You want to abstain, Glenn wants to abstain because she wasn't here. Okay, so moving on. Don, do you want?
The young gentleman there, John, is here. Can we have the commission make a motion to let him go first because he's got to attend the second meeting at 7?
Okay, that'd be fine. Could somebody make a motion? Yeah, okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, any more discussion? We'll just bump, what was your name again?
John, come on up.
John, yeah, we'll let John speak about what he has to speak about. And so, all those in favor of having John up here now?
Aye.
I'm in favor. Aye.
Yeah, okay. Anyone
Aye.
opposed? No. Abstain? No. Okay. So, John, nice to meet, oh, you even have your name on there.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's up, John? Don told me you spoke to him and wanted to
Yeah,
talk about a project or something.
Yeah, I've actually, I've come here to talk about my Eagle project. I'm John. I'm a Light Scout from Troop 26, so just down the road, if you'd like to see me. So I've just, I would like to ask two things. I'd first like to ask permission if I could, well, actually I'll talk about my Eagle project. So right now I'm trying to do my Eagle project. To do this, I'm going to be building 4 Stop the Bleed kits, and I'm going to be mounting them in boxes, and I'd like to put these in 4 different spots around the town. I believe it says in the packet, I think if I can remember, it's White Sands, Rogers Lake, Cross Lane, and then Town Woods. So I would first like to ask permission if I could if I would have permission to put these boxes in these 4 places. And then I would also like to ask if I could receive some funding for my project. I've done the calculations, and if I could ask for about $1,000, then I'd greatly appreciate it.
Can you explain what your boxes are?
Yeah, sure thing. So my boxes are Stop the Bleed boxes. They're going to house Stop the Bleed kits, similar to those outside. I've noticed that around the town we don't have many of these kits around, and upon talking to Mr. Belville, who is part of the Old Lyme ambulance, he said that he would greatly appreciate if I would be able to put these boxes around the town. As I said, I need to do an Eagle project, and it benefits the town, it benefits myself, and it benefits the ambulance company. So I thought that'd be a great thing. Yeah.
Good project.
And then I have the if you flip to the last 2 pages, then there's just dimensions of what it's going to look like.
This?
Yeah.
What's in it?
What's it?
So it's a Stop the Bleed kit. So it's
I don't think anybody's here is
I
familiar.
don't know what that is. I mean, I can
Yeah.
assume I know what it is.
Yeah. So essentially, Stop the Bleed is it's kind of a growing national movement. Essentially, everything that you would need to stop it. Minor bleeds. Most often, people bleed out and die from injuries that are not fatal. So Stop the Bleed has been sort of this movement to put these kits in areas where they would be needed to stop potentially to stop bleeds that would potentially lead to a death that doesn't need to occur. So simple things such as cloth bandages, gauze, tourniquets if it is that serious, but
There's a kit right around the corner.
Yeah.
Mounted in the top.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody can see this, but this kit, John, is 18.25 inches by 13.5, and apparently there's one outside here.
Are they noticeable to people?
Yeah, so actually, to make this noticeable, I'm going to be painting it white, and I'm going to put a big red cross in the center, and that's, everybody recognizes that.
So it just has gauze and a tourniquet.
I could...
And that's $1,000 for 4?
No, so...
I don't understand.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm going to... I'm not assembling... So the kits come pre-assembled, but I'm going to be building the boxes that are going to house them. So I'm... Yeah. Yeah, not the kit itself. I'm sorry if I...
No, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
It's just the boxes and...
Yeah.
All right, so you need an enclosure to put them in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and John, being that we do have vandalism in this town, just about all the public park areas at one point or another, how would this be secured so somebody couldn't just take it? Or have you talked to Don about how you would actually mount this or have it somewhere?
So yeah, I have depending on which I have 2 systems that I'm going to mount this thing. I have a post. I have 2 different plans. One, I would mount it on a post and I would bury it in the ground. I would be able to call CBYD first, and I have them check to make sure. And if not, then I would also, I'd like to ask permission if I could mount it onto a pre-existing building of some sort. I know that, for example, at Cross Lane or or town woods. There are pre-existing buildings that I could do that.
Yeah, we have the cardiac thing mounted at various
How do you
places.
keep people from like breaking in and stealing, you know, your things in there? Is there a way to do that, or?
So,
If I can interrupt, sorry.
Sure.
We have AED at Town Woods Park there.
Right.
Nobody has messed with it at all
Oh,
yet.
good, oh.
We in the summertime, we have them with my staff at Haynes Park and White Sand Beach. Little League has them at Cross Lane. They're not mounted exterior. The problem with the AEDs is they're very susceptible to cold. It kills the batteries almost immediately, can't leave them out in cold, and in the heat. So it's kind of hard to put them outside without damaging them really quickly. This would be similar. It's mounted outside. They're mounted at the schools. There's one around here, and they're starting to appear a lot of places.
So John, have you talked to Don about possible places to put these boxes?
yeah, so I've talked with him. In fact, I've actually been talking to the high school shop teacher, Mr. Goss.
Yeah.
And he's been helping me a lot with this.
Okay, well, it sounds like a good deal, guys. What do you all think?
I personally don't think it's a bad idea at all. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think that the boxes could be easily mounted either on the buildings or on a post somewhere near the building. I don't see it as a big deal at all.
Yeah, the only part is that we don't have $1,000 in our budget to give you $1,000 right away. We can put it in a budget for July 1.
Well, I told John, I said that will be one problem area. So
Yes.
what I will do is I'll talk to Nicole to see what kind of building fund stuff we have that might be able to come out of there.
Yeah, and then get all the proper paperwork for
Right.
who you're paying what to and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What are the materials you want to build the box out of?
Yeah, so I'm going to be using I actually have a list right over here. So I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using some, right here. So I pressure treated plywood. I'm going to be using some 4x4s for the posts. That is, if I would like to put mount it on a post. Some white paint, some red paint. I'm going to have a 30-inch piano hinge. I'm going to cut that in half. Well, actually 4 ways. Just save some money. School already has plenty of screws. And that's really it. Kind of simple. But what does get into it is wood is fairly expensive, and pressure treated wood is also on top of that.
So I take it you also attend the shop class or something in school?
So I have not yet attended a shop class. However, Mr. Goss said he'd be happy to teach me how to use the equipment.
Oh, okay. And he has the equipment. You say they have screws and stuff.
Yeah.
But other things that you may need, they don't have, or they can't donate to you?
Nah, really, this is all I need. Everything else, the school has a massive workshop, and they really have everything that I would need, besides the funding to buy the materials, that is.
Okay.
Great idea, wonderful idea.
Is
Thank you.
the money you're asking from us going to cover the whole project, or are you getting funding from other places?
So actually, I'm coming here to ask for about $1,000, and that's for the materials. And then the Old Lyme Ambulance Services, they said that they would be able to get me to Stop the Bleed kits.
Oh, that's
So-
great. Okay.
So they're donating the Stop the Bleed kits for this They will donate them for this project.
Mr. Belville said he does have the money that he would be able to
I
get
think
me.
that's where you're going next, to talk to them about that?
Yeah, that's...
Okay. Well...
Wait, I have one question if I can jump in. It's Missy. So if the ambulance donates the kits, what happens when the kits get depleted, like the materials are used? Who then restocks them and monitors that?
I was actually talking to Mr. Belville about that, and he said that the ambulance company would watch over the boxes and periodically check in.
Great. Okay, great.
Okay, good. Anybody else on the telephone, Park and Rec Commissioner, having a comment?
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Sounds like a good, it sounds like a good idea. I think everybody's in agreement with that. So would someone like to make a motion? Now, we don't have to make the motion to include somehow helping to get funding for this before July 1, because after July 1, we could Don, we could probably put it in a budget if we can't get it before then.
Well, I think he wants it before that.
If possible, yes, I would like to, and the reason is I'm 17 currently. My next birthday is January 4th of next year. So I'm hoping to get my project done around March 11th through 13th. That way, it's a lot of paperwork, and I would like to be able to try and complete the project within this school year.
Yes.
Just because I don't want to push it next year.
Okay, so someone make an appropriate
The motion
motion
is to-
pending, so Don, you're gonna try and find funding
It's gonna
for
be pending, but
Huh?
it's gonna be pending.
Yes, it'll have to be pending, okay? So somebody make up
I'll make
some,
the resolution,
Would it be to approve the project presented by John Eccles, pending funding?
but you need the funding in order to do it, correct?
Yeah.
Pending
pending the funding.
pending funding, which will be investigated by Don Bugby for approximately $1,000 for materials for this project. That sound good, Mary Ellen?
Perfect.
Pending funding,
Okay.
which Don will investigate?
Okay. So you make the motion, Glenn? You want to read it once more?
Glenn Vaccaro moved to approve the project presented by John Eccles, pending funding which Don Bugby will investigate.
And I think we should say it's a Boy Scout project? Or
Yeah, it's Boy Scout Eagle project.
How would you identify it?
Boy Scout Eagle project.
A Boy Scout Eagle project, okay?
Called bleed boxes?
Stop the bleed kits.
Stop.
Stop the bleed boxes, whatever.
No bleeding.
Bleeding.
Okay.
Okay.
So can you read it once more, Mary Ellen, please?
Okay, Glenn Vaccaro moved to approve of the project presented by John Eccles, which is a Boy Scout Eagle project, Stop the Bleed. Is that all right?
Stop the bleed boxes, yeah.
Boxes, okay. Pending funding, which Don Bugby will investigate.
Right. Okay. And you made the motion, and someone would like to second. John, you want to second it?
Sure.
Okay. Any more discussion about this? At the table, no more discussion. In telephone land, any? Brendan, Missy,
Nope.
Tim?
No,
Any more
sounds good to me.
discussion? Okay. Since there's no more discussion on it, all those in favor of this, please say aye.
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 Anyone?
Aye.
Okay, anyone opposed? No? Anyone want to abstain? No? Okay. We're done, and good luck with you and Don trying to get this off the ground.
Sure.
All right.
Good luck, John.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John.
Okay,
Great idea.
here we go like this these days.
John, I'll talk to you after you have the meeting.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck at the ambulance meeting next.
Thank you.
Yeah, and by the way, thank them for anything they contribute to on behalf of the Park and Rec.
Yes, no problem.
Okay, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Next one is the election of the PRC officers. Beginning of every year, we do that. Anyone?
I will move that we, to nominate the present slate of officers to serve for 2022, which would be Bob Dunn as chairperson,
Yeah.
John Flower as vice chair, myself as secretary.
Okay.
I'll second that.
You'll second that? Okay, any other discussion on that? No?
None for me.
Brendan, Missy,
No.
Tim,
Nope.
any more discussion? Okay. Hearing no more discussions needed, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, anyone opposed? No? Anyone abstain? No. Okay. Next up, Director's Report, update on PRC programs and facilities.
All right, we'll get into program stuff. Adult basketball is finally able to be started next week. We play on Sundays and Wednesdays so far, unless the COVID affects it going forward. Our yoga classes.
I have one question about that, Don. I think the last time you said there was some objection to wearing masks. Since it's going to be at the
That
school.
will not be an issue anymore. I'll close the program down.
So people who want to participate agree to, because that's the school's policy.
That's the rule.
Yeah.
That's the District 18 rule when you're in the building.
Okay. All right.
Follow the rules or it's over.
Right. Okay.
The yoga classes, we finished session 1, a 5-week session, and session 2 is scheduled to start next week, next Wednesday. And that goes through February 16th. Youth basketball sign-ups are ongoing. I have a tentative coaches meeting scheduled for this Saturday, January 8th, with the season running January 15th through March 5th. As you know, sign-ups originally delayed due to COVID concerns, and it was discussed at the December 2nd Parks and Rec meeting. I'd like to continue those discussions right now because I personally have some concerns about what's going on with COVID-type stuff right now, which also with the low number of usual sign-ups, I'm not sure if people are backing away because of COVID or what, and the initial lack of available coaching as well. So I'd just like the commission to briefly discuss any concerns you might have with COVID stuff. Right now, as of today, there are no restrictions of going into the school buildings. There's no restrictions on the amount of people that can be in there, etc. There are in other towns, all that stuff is starting. Like at the high school level, we go to gyms and two parents can go for a kid, that type of stuff. No outside people, etc., etc. So those restrictions are starting to happen around us. They're not happening here yet. And I'm obviously in contact with Mr. Advisor about any kind of changes. I'd just like to hear, I think I'm going to delay everything one more week based on the number of sign-ups that are here now, just to see if there's just be late ones. Because there's no sense having an organizational meeting and we get piled in with registrations after that. It just screws up everything. So I'm going to postpone it a week as it is, but I'd just like to hear your thoughts about any COVID concerns.
So you say there was less people responding than what were interested, significantly less, or?
Yes, I think right now about half as many people are signed up as usually are.
Okay.
And I think some of it's probably COVID-related concerns, I'm sure.
Right, but the one restriction they would have to do is, even though we know there's a mask mandate at the school, correct?
Correct.
But there's no, how many parents can go?
There's no restrictions as of today about how many people can be in the
So
gym.
when you have a basketball game with the high school girls, anybody can go, or no?
Anybody can go.
Okay.
In this town.
Okay.
Not in some others.
So this will be another one pending any last-minute changes.
Right. I don't know, from what I gather, there was like close to 150 kids out of the high school today. And I think it's a similar thing. Maybe Missy or Brendan or Tim could help out with that information about the other schools. But I think there's a lot of kids out of schools with this stuff going on.
And haven't you had?
And are we contributing to the problem by having something like Parks and Rec?
Yeah, and haven't you had to postpone basketball, girls, high school basketball games because of COVID problems?
2 out of 6 games have been postponed. Our last 2 games have been postponed.
Yeah, when I look at the paper, I see a lot of
because other teams are testing positive and they don't have players.
And you're always.
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
If I could jump.
There were 32 high school basketball games posted in Connecticut.
Yeah, doesn't sound good.
No.
Go ahead, Missy.
Well, my initial thought is, I feel like if there was clear, I think everybody's kind of confused in just like in the schools and whatnot with like new guidance on quarantine and contact tracing in the schools and this and that. And I think if we were to do the program, which I feel like every other program is happening. Nothing. I was just even researching it today, just as far as like my work at the Youth Service Bureau, and nothing's being canceled. Everything's happening. So it's kind of, I guess, parents' choice if they want, want to sign their kids up, they can do that. But I think we as a commission would need to have like pretty strict, or at least like written guidelines as far as like contact tracing, and if you come to basketball, you know, if you're a close contact or whatnot, because I think that that's where there's a ton of confusion as to what's the right thing to do and how to handle it. Like, you know, if you have a positive case, like, is somebody going to let the basketball, you know, is somebody going to let Don know? Or I don't know. I think that that's important stuff to consider. But I do think it could happen. It's kind of, if people want to do it, you know, it's up to them. It's not something you have to sign up for, obviously.
Right.
I don't know. That's my thought.
I think it could be a problem. I'd love to have the program. Let's get that out there first. I think it could be a problem, though, with contact tracing, et cetera. I mean, you're always relying on the honesty of the people who are involved, but, you know, when somebody comes positive in the schools, they got classrooms that they know the kid was in, et cetera, and do all that stuff.
And they have nurses that are employed through the contact tracing, or someone is employed. Someone at the schools is employed.
No, they don't do contact tracing anymore at the schools.
No, I think you're right. I think contact tracing just stopped, but the school nurses were doing that type of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, okay, but nobody's doing that anymore.
I don't believe
No, I don't think. Yeah, I think that that's the thing. I feel like it's not a matter of what, you know, Don having to do contact tracing. It's more like making people aware that there was a, you know, if there is a positive case of somebody that was at basketball on Saturday, then an email is going to have to go out to everyone saying there was a positive case. You know, I think that type of thing. But I think it's hard to figure out exactly how to handle what to do. And
right now, you got
Go ahead.
Right now, they're just like, for Park and Rec, it would be, there was a positive case on Mr. Smith's third grade team. So people are aware that there's, you know, that are connected with that. So for the schools, there was a case in so-and-so, Mrs. Smith's room. For the people that know that have kids in Mrs. Smith, that they might want to be tested. So kind of that's where it's at right now.
So Don would have to include with the registration something similar to what they do at schools. That if you have, if you're a coach,
everybody's going to be informed.
Yeah.
Well, that was very helpful, Tim, because you do coaching for the middle school.
Yeah. And same thing's happening at the middle school level. Those games being canceled because of outbreaks in different communities, and it's just, I think it's going to get a little bit worse before it gets a little bit better.
That's what they all are projecting. Yes, all the scientists. Okay.
I think I would just like to delay it a week, just to see what's shaking out this week. One more week.
Yeah.
Because they just got back from vacation anyway, so that things are kind of boiling over. Having the season, but you know, the mask requirements, I don't think it's a problem because all the kids participating go to the schools here anyways. It's just going to be identifying the case. It's a responsibility of the people involved to let us know, and then I'll get the email out to the affected group. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
Do you have
Right, and I wonder if do you think you could add something to the waiver or to the permission slip or something that they check off saying that they would notify us if if their child was to test positive?
Well, the forms are already out, so I couldn't do that now.
Okay.
But when we form the groups at the coaches meeting and I form the email list, it will go out at that time.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
So I don't think there's any objections in delaying this process for another week to see how it all pans out in the schools, right? No one.
I agree.
That sounds fine, Don. Everybody in agreement with that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Consensus agreement?
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Don's call.
Okay, yeah, it'll be your call, Don, as to whether or not you have enough kids to participate, whether
and coaches too, or is that a
Coaches are a big thing, yeah.
Yeah, if he has some coaches that get sick, then that can be a
well, then they would probably have to postpone game.
Right.
Okay, is that good enough, Don?
Yeah, I'll delay it a week and have another, because I think the late sign-ups, as I call them, are still going to come in. I know they are. And
especially now that everybody's back to school.
giving us another week will help. It's not going to make a big impact on the whole season.
Okay, so I think, your dealings with the school, you got a pretty good handle on everything that's
Yes.
going on, and what would be needed to do this.
Yes. Yes.
So that, we all agree that let Don
Okay.
wait another week and then handle it appropriately.
All right, okay.
Okay.
Next item, adult volleyball. As you know, there's been some discussion and some interested participants in that. We have been contacted and talking with District 18 personnel because we'll use the district's standards and nets and stuff. The problem right now is gym space. Gym space is booked up a lot. The gyms we would use would be the middle school gym and the high school gym, preferably the middle school gym. And it's booked solid until mid-March. So I think what's going to happen, we'll pick this program up after that stuff starts spinning out. Then maybe next year we can get ahead of the have it go early. But that's in the works. Summer programs. Just started planning, the planning process for our day camp, some basketball camps and some tennis camps. As previously reported, we got 2 CAS camps scheduled for soccer under contract for next July and next August. I'm hoping to have everything confirmed by March 30th. So I can have some accurate information and participate in the LYSD Summer Camp and Activities Fair, which was just announced that they're going to hold again on March 30th. March 30th, right, Missy?
Yes, March 30th.
Okay. As far as summer staff goes, I've contacted last summer's 27 employees to see if they're interested in returning. 21 have confirmed that they will return, 3 have declined, and 3 are unsure at this time. I'm also receiving new applications at this point, and again, my hopes to have everything in place, all hired up by the end of March. I think, once again, we'll be in good shape rather quickly with summer staff, with the usual exception of lifeguards, which seems to be a problem to get, but I'm working on it. Facilities, as previously reported, all facility buildings, White Sand Beach, Haynes Park, Cross Lane, Townwoods Park are closed for the season. The Haynes Park docks were disassembled and pulled on the shore for the season. The building at Haynes Park, the gutter guards, are still scheduled to be installed, and the replacement window for the broken bathroom window on that building has been received and will be installed shortly. The 22-23 budget, I completed my proposed budget, early December, shortly after our last meeting, and turned it into the finance director, reviewed it with her, and the next step in that process is after it'll go to the Board of Finance, and I'll get called in and go in front of the Board of Finance to discuss anything on it. The next item I have to talk about is the Townwoods Park gate. I sent you all an email in December. Let's see. I sent an email in December about, I'll just quickly read it here. There have been some discussions about moving the current gate at Townwoods Park to a location closer to Townwoods Road. The gate currently secures entrance only to Townwoods Park. Access to the Senior Center parking lot is accessible at any time. Moving the gate to a different location would secure access to both facilities. The gatekeeper monies and operation lie with the Parks and Recreation Department. Further discussions are needed about this, along with the decision to do this project or not. There was a current $4,000 request in the 22-23 Senior Center capital budget for this proposed project. There are no details beyond that. This is not a Parks and Recreation Department proposal, but Parks and Recreation Department seemingly will inherit additional responsibilities. I have questions about the estimate, the proposed gate location, and the schedule differences between Parks and Rec and the Senior Center affecting the opening and closing of the gate, along with the associated expense. Please provide me with initial thoughts about this proposal, and I had a place to, well, I talked about this meeting here. And I got a couple, the facilities guy, Phil Parchek, called. He had similar concerns to what I did. And I got an email from Martha Shoemaker saying that she also has some concerns about this. So, can we have a little quick discussion about it? It's not my project, but it's going to affect us.
Yeah, well, first of all,
Well, right away, one thing that could happen is the gate, sometimes, depending on the weather, we might not open Townwoods Park Gate from now until through February because of snow and ice and stuff like that.
Right.
Theirs needs to be open. So we open it now, we pay for it now, so.
Yeah, it sounds like there are a lot of obstacles to make this work. In fact, my concern was, would traffic back up or anything like that?
Well, I don't think so. I think they're gonna. It wouldn't be like it's right out by Townwoods Road. It would be closer, so somebody could pull in there, see the place is closed, and turn around right there and go out. I don't think traffic would be a big deal. It's not like they're stopping right on Townwood Road and trying to turn around there.
And if this is being promoted by the senior center, why isn't the senior center just going to put their own gate by their parking lot? I guess they want it.
You have to ask them that, I guess.
Yeah. There's a lot to. In fact, you've made a few good points, and.
Well, scheduling doesn't make sense. I mean, in the summertime, I mean, on Saturdays, we want to be up there early. Kids want to
the
start
gate is normally open 7:30 most of the time.
The senior center is not going to be
but the senior center one, why would Park and Rec work a gate for senior center?
Good question.
And plus, if they have a late night program,
right?
So our, the fields are all accessible in the dark.
Yeah,
people can drive in there, and then they close the gates. I don't know. I don't think it coordinates well.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I think you need to have a lot of these questions addressed by who wrote that email to you. The senior center? Somebody from the senior center?
I wrote the email to everybody when I heard about the project.
Yeah, who's pushing the project?
Yeah, who told you about it?
The senior center would like to do it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well.
And I heard it about it in kind of, quite frankly, casual conversation. And I said, okay, wait a minute. And I did some more checking, and there's a $4,000 line item in the budget with no details. And I went, okay. Well, I don't put $4,000 line item in budgets with no details.
Yes. I don't think we have enough information
Definitely not enough information
to say one way or the other about this. I think a lot of these questions should be addressed prior to us seeing if we would get involved in the first place. And it's not the senior center. The Park and Rec is not responsible for the senior center. Right, John?
Right, I agree.
No, we're not.
I don't think their two schedules don't work.
Exactly. I don't think there's any reason
They're
for
very
us to get
different
involved.
schedules.
Yeah. Well,
you don't want them to go for an event and I mean,
Well, I think no, we're not going to resolve anything tonight. So it's out there. It's out there when I gave you the emails. It's out here now in the public meeting. So I'll keep tabs on it, on where it's going from them, and provide updates.
And my one suggestion, if the senior center wants a gate for their parking lot, it should be their responsibility to open and close it, or have somebody open and close it, because the schedule, as you say, doesn't always work with when Townwoods Park, so, especially in the wintertime. If there's snow out in Townwoods Park, no one drives in or out of it.
Right. The wintertime, December, January, February, maybe early March is the problem.
Yeah.
And then in the evenings, the park is closed at sunset.
Right.
And senior center, not always, obviously, but it has evening events, and there's been a few evening events where they had overflow parking, and I made a special arrangement to keep the gate open for them. but.
Okay, can you keep abreast of that, and also maybe voice some of the concerns that we have, and you, Phil Parchik, the facilities director, had, Martha had, and some of the ones that we just discussed.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay, we appreciate it immensely. But yeah, that's going to be a tough one to make it. Why Park and Rec how would we do this?
Right.
It's not our thing, really. They don't want
I will continue discussions with the affected parties and update you at the next meeting, if not before.
Well, okay, good. All right. Anything else, Don?
No, that's it for that.
Okay. All right. Next item is old business, the kayak launch at Haynes Park. And I'll just say that we had 2 meetings with the Harbor Commission people out that are supporting the safe kayak launch. We had a meeting on October 10th, and then we had a follow-up meeting right before our last December meeting of the Park and Rec on November 30th. And Mike McGee has been spearheading this along with Terry Lewis. And at the November 30th meeting, we spoke to Terry and Mike, and it was determined by everyone there to try out an area on the east side of the park, out by where that garden is, basically avoiding walking kayaks through the beach area, but with access from the parking lot.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. And Mike's done a lot of work on it. And the last thing we discussed at the last meeting was that we asked Mike to find out if the DEP has to okay what type of dock is on Rogers Lake. He forwarded an email to us saying some DEP representative said that's not their purview.
Correct.
And that that what Mike did then was he went to the Rogers Lake Authority meeting to discuss them. Somebody has to have locally in the town some say over what type of docks go on the lake. And he attended a meeting on December 15th, the minutes which I hold in my hand here. And basically after the presentation was made by Mike for a rampway and 1 connected dock and this safe kayak launch, that we gave approval for it if we could get some sort of written confirmation that whoever the regulating person is, it turns out it's the Rogers Lake Authority, right? And that if we get a positive indication that this is good with them, that the Park and Rec Commission was a go on this. And in their meeting, Mark made a motion of the Rogers Lake Authority to have the Harbor Commission install a paddle launch assistant with a dock at Haynes Park. Tony second, motion passed unanimously. And I thank Mike for all the legwork he's done. Anything you want to add to that, Mike?
No, well, they were very happy with the location we chose. It's where John pointed out the phragmites that they've been trying to get rid of is. They asked me to inform them before we install it in the spring, because they're going to try, they've been poisoning the phragmites. They want to try to dig out the roots before this dock goes in. So I told them I'd bring my pitchfork and meet with them there before it gets installed. So my question is there a set day when the rowers can install or any docks? Do you have a ruling on that?
Yeah, I believe it's March 15th. That's for the installation day for the docks, and we've asked the representatives of the Old Line Rowing Association to include the Park and Rec director in all discussions about anything that's on town property that changes the physical look at Haynes Park. So that'll be around March 15th. And you told me in an email you didn't think any type of further letter was needed to your Harbor Commission. It was all in our minutes last time.
Yes. accepted that and we voted it approved.
Yeah, so, and we agreed to give it a shot this year and evaluate to see it's going well, and that we hope it all works. And if not, we'll try and make it work some other way.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so that's, anybody have any questions about that?
Nope.
And like I said, I think I speak for all the Park and Rec commissioners, thanking you for all your efforts. And, yeah, let's, I think it'll be a great thing, especially because kayaks are very difficult to get in and out, and the older you get, the more difficult it gets. So this will be a good addition to the park.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No. Okay, so I think we're done with that. Thank you, Mike. Next item is the security cameras for Haynes Park. Mr. Griswold received two estimates from two different companies about installing security cameras at Haynes Park, and it was up to Phil Parchik, the Director of Facilities, and Mr. Griswold to pick which one they wanted. But the Park and Rec Commission has always wanted to have security cameras at Haynes Park, and it was originally discussed at the boathouse meetings back in, I don't know, 2015 or whatever it was, a long time ago, that part of Phase 2 project was to have security cameras. Well, we all know that committee, the boathouse committee, never got to Phase 2, really, and the town then put the bathroom up with additional funding, and basically everyone agrees it's a good idea, and these would be cameras that do 180 sweeps, and you get a look at most of the Haynes Park, including the boathouse, and as well as for whoever enters and leaves the restroom area, because as we all know, 3 days after the building opened, it was vandalized, and hasn't been vandalized since. But I think it's all, Don, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Bill said there was money in a building project. We just have to get that approved for general building maintenance, correct?
Yes, it's Phil's handling it though. I don't have any final.
Phil said he's going to handle it, and hopefully he can come up with the funding for it, because we wanted to know if we could use some of our capital budget, which for this year, which was $247,000 for various projects at parks, and not just at Haynes Park, use money that we did not spend because the town crew increased the size of the parking lot. So, but apparently for some reason that may be a problem. It's being discussed, and so it's up to Phil to see if he can work it out. And hopefully we get the cameras in, because of course in the wintertime there's not much activity down there, and over the years we have noticed that people drive their cars through there, and so if we have cameras, we'll be able to identify them. There's other problems apparently with young people drinking and down there, so hopefully Phil will work that out. Anybody have any questions about that? Hopefully we'll get it installed sooner rather than later, but this is something the selectmen and the finance people have to agree on to provide funding, which was approximately, if I recall, approximately $10,000 was the lower, or was one of the low estimates for this project. Right, Don? I think it was a little over $10,000.
Installation of cameras and the fire alarm system is included, $11,000.
Okay, $11,000, yeah. Because we don't, say like when we built the field house out of Townwoods Park, we made sure the fire department would be notified, and this is just something we should have down at Haynes Park, and everyone is in agreement we should have it. Just a question of where the funding is going to come from. Okay? Anybody, you guys out telephone, want to say anything? Brendan, Missy?
Nothing for me. Nope, nothing for me.
Nope, I'm good.
Me neither.
Okay, and anybody here want to say anything further about it? Okay, so hopefully the security cameras will be installed. Okay, the next one is the attorney review of fencing at Haynes Park, excuse me. At the last meeting, I said that we put together all the documentation concerning Haynes Park, especially in view of right-of-ways and also what do you call it? Easements. To honor all easements and right-of-ways. Half the park has a fence around it, and we just wanted to complete the other half because people have been parking on Haynes Park property. People have been driving over it. We wanted to also include this for security I guess this year coming up, we're going to improve the playground area.
That's the intent.
Yes, and we have funding for that. So anyway, we haven't, Mr. Griswold advanced it to the town attorney, Attorney Carey, I believe, and we still haven't received his review of this. But as we've always said, that once we get the attorney's review, and at that time, the Park and Rec Commission will be working with the facilities director for a proposed location of the fencing. And once we do that, we will communicate not only to all the people through Park and Rec meeting, but also all the abutting neighbors of the intentions of where this fence would be located. So that, but until we get the attorney review, we're not going to the next step yet. But once we get that, and then we'll deal with the facilities director and see where a proposed fence may be located.
So the facilities director will help suggest where it should go, and then
he's going to have
the input from the legal.
Input from legal, and also hopefully input from. He was hoping to BCS. He said they all. It's up like at least 6 inches into our property, so there would be no issues with any of the abutting landowners. Haven't gotten the attorney review yet. When we do, we'll go to the next step. Anybody have anything to say about that? Missy, Brendan, or Tim, anything to say? What is that?
I do not.
Okay.
Nothing from me, Bob. Sounds fair.
Okay.
Everything's good.
All right. Well, that's the status of that. And now we'll move on to the last one of the old business about the assistant director position for Parks and Recreation. Don, myself, Tim Griswold, and Nicole, the finance director, sat down and had a very positive meeting and discussion about this. I see that it's on the January 18th agenda for the Board of Selectmen. So hopefully this will be approved, because we did have very positive discussions with all the parties. And we'll see what happens, Don, right? Anything you want to add to that? You were at the meeting.
No, we're waiting to see what the selectmen say.
Yeah. So that's it. But like I said, it's very positive, and Don could certainly use the help, as we pointed out at a selectmen's meeting, about he's responsible for basically the population of Old Lyme and Lyme these days. Almost 10,000 people, and all the surrounding communities had more people per person. To work on this. So 10,000 people was a lot for one person to be doing.
And if they approve it, when would we be able to have this person?
Well, as soon as
the 1st of July, or
That's before that.
It would be
before.
But this is something that can't be decided until...
There's money in the budget and staffing line items that are already there. And it was discussed, and it was as long as the selectmen agree that the money can be taken out of there. It boils down to the selectmen agreeing to go forward with this.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but it was...
So we're covered for the rest of the year through June 30th. And it's in the proposed budget for next year.
But like I said, everything was...
I know you said that before, but I'm glad.
Yeah, there was very positive discussion by all on that. So hopefully that'll get done. Anybody else want to say anything about that? Okay. Next one is new business. And any other new business? Anyone have any suggestions about any other new business?
I don't know.
Brendan, Tim,
No,
Missy?
nothing for me, Bob.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm good.
Missy, you okay?
Nope, I'm all set, thanks.
Okay, fine. Okay, the next one we go to is correspondence, and we've been receiving several correspondences in the last month, and basically there were two groups of correspondence, one concerning the completion of fencing at Haynes Park. Once we received the review of the town attorney, as I said, the PRC would work with facilities director to put together a proposed fencing plan. All abutting neighbors will be appraised of it. Will be informed of all this, and hopefully we'll have discussions with each of them as we walk around the neighborhood there, and if we can, we'll send the information, of course, to them, and they'll be contacted at the time that after we get the attorney review and after we propose with the facilities director where the fencing would go. And we received two people wrote in about that, Michael Ferguson and Ina Moscow, M-A-S-C-O, who's a neighbor there. And rather than, I'm not going to read these, but we will attach these to the, the one from Michael Ferguson on Sunday, January 2nd, and the one on Monday, January 3rd from Ms. Moscow. Okay. So we'll include those attached to the, but like I said, everyone will be informed, and we'll go from there. Like once we have a plan, we don't have the plan yet exactly where it would go. Okay, the second set of communications was related to the communication I sent on December 6th on behalf of the Park and Rec Commission to the Mr. and Mrs. Fuchs, the president of the Rowing Association and the director of the Rowing Association. And basically the take-home point of my correspondence was that that we once again reiterated that any physical change to Haynes Park or its facilities must go through Don Bugby initially. And then Don would get any partners involved, including if we had to get the Park and Rec Commission involved on any decisions to be made. Mr. Fuchs then on the same day, December 6th, responded that he responded at our November 30th meeting, which was attended by myself, Don, Mr. Fuchs, and Mike McGee and Terry Lewis from the Harbor Commission, and later attended by the Director of Facilities, who also attended. And we basically, the take home from the letter I wrote on December 6th was that any physical changes that take place at not only Haynes Park, but any other park lands, town property, must go through Don Bugby. I asked about a wooden dock that was right up against the connector dock system, that what you didn't used to be there, and Mr. Fuchs stated that Mother Nature, a storm or something, actually uprooted some of these docks, and that's why these wooden docks were in a different position than they had been in all summer long. Okay, so anyway, okay, well, fine, if that was the case. And there was just one of the two areas we were talking about having this safe kayak launch placed, either at the existing docks or the place that we finally approved at that meeting by the eastern end, by the garden area, and where Phragmites are growing. And I was just concerned because after we decided where to have the safe kayak launch positioned there, that Mr. Fuchs in his reply to my email on behalf of the Park and Rec said that he stated he knew the rules and was doing the best to play by them. We also discussed at that meeting, okay, the in-person meeting at Haynes Park, that Don was to be involved in the removal of town docks or any type of physical change at Haynes Park. Okay, well, that was on December. That communication was December 6th. It was based on a meeting we had on November 30th, and then we found out that the docks were removed from Haynes Park, even though we had discussed with the facilities director, Don, myself, and the representative from the Old Lime Roll Association, that Don was supposed to be contacted by, if they're going to volunteer some effort, which we always encourage, that Don would be contacted. Don, and you were contacted or were not contacted?
I was not contacted. The docks were disassembled and pulled to the shore without the knowledge of the Public Works Director as well.
Right, because Don was, we had this discussion that Don was going to get together with representative of the Rowing Association, himself, and the Director of Public Works would also be involved in getting this done. Right, Don?
Well, Public Works has pulled the docks out up until this year in one section each, and pushed them back in the springtime. And there was discussion along those times of, is there a better way? Some of them were leaking. Was it because of the way they were removed and pushed in, et cetera, et cetera? There was discussions on possibly disassembling some of them to make it easier, or possibly stacking them up too high. Not too high, but two one on top of another.
Yeah, they're 7.5 foot by 10 foot sections. So
there was all kind of discussion down there about what we should do. There wasn't any decisions made as far as I was aware of. And Paul was going to contact Ed Adante, the Public Works person, and arrange for the thing to happen. And then apparently, as far as I know, Mr. Adante received an email says that the docks were disassembled by rowers on a weekend, and that was that. And that was then he asked them to apparently pull some of them up farther, that they couldn't get them farther enough.
Yeah, and that was the docks were removed right. Well, the date for the docks being removed is December 15th, and it was in the middle. It was over the weekend around that date. Yeah. After we had our meeting on the November 30th.
Yeah.
Okay. Parks and Rec Commission loves to have people volunteer and help, and it's always appreciated. Okay. But once again, my email, we were concerned that Don Bugby is not being involved in correspondence with the old Lime Row Association, when things are moved around, or say, for instance, when the Mother Nature moved the docks, the wooden docks, he was not told of that until we went out there that day and looked at it. And I had asked how it got there, and Paul Fuchs said, well, it was the storm or something. I wasn't actually, I was out of the country at that time. There was some storm or something, I guess. But anyway, that's where it's left. We got some communications concerning this. We're going to attach these communications to the minutes. We would certainly once again hope that we don't have to reiterate. We thought at the November meeting it was made clear to the Rowing Association representative, Mr. Fuchs. It was made clear at the on-site meeting at November 30th that Don should be involved. And we're just hoping that we're told that he's going to be involved, but then once again, now this meeting happened 2 weeks after approximately 2 weeks after the on-site meeting on November 30th, and it wasn't done. Don had no knowledge of the removal of these docks. But like I said, we appreciate volunteers, but we want to coordinate it with the Park and Rec director. And if he has to get Public Works involved, he will. If he has to get Facilities Director involved, he will. If he has to get us involved, he will. So we just have an ongoing concern that we hope in the future that these things will be communicated to Don Bugbee. And we received, related to this, well, first of all, there's a copy of my December 6th email to Mr. and Mrs. Fuchs. There's also a copy of Mr. Fuchs's reply. There's also, we're going to attach emails from Kevin Roberts that concerned this on January 5th. Terry Lewis that talked about this meeting on November 30th. We received her email July 5th, and also Mike McGee sent a email to myself and a few others on January 5th. All these will be attached, okay?
Okay.
To the minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So we hope things get straightened out in the future. Anybody have any?
I have a comment.
Yeah.
It's just that the rowers are the experts on the docks and all the rowing stuff, and Public Works are the experts on Public Works stuff. I just need to facilitate the activity, and just so we can make sure everybody's on the same page, the process that we use is acceptable and agreeable to everybody, and it's in the best interest for our town docks, town-owned equipment. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm not telling the rowers how to take something apart or whether it's good or bad. I'm just trying to facilitate the process so everybody's aware, and we're doing the best thing that we can do for the town property, which in this case is town docks.
And every organization that uses town property follows this process. They contact Don if they want to do something, just like we had the young man here about this Stop the Bleed project. We want the communication.
Right. That's all.
That's all.
That's my perspective on it.
So we hope that in the future we have better communication. If things are physically moved or in a park or a facility, that it's up to whoever's moving these things to contact Don Bugbee to facilitate the project. Okay, the next, anything else on that? No? Okay.
Yes. May I?
Yeah.
This is Paul Fuchs. I'm on the phone, and I'd like to speak about this.
Yes, okay. I was just going to say the next part of the agenda is public comment. So, Paul, if you could say it in a few minutes, go ahead.
Right. When we were there, we were told that the docks had to come out in two-part sections. Phil Partak took that action and called Ed Adante. Ed Adante said, I'll take out the docks, but I will not take them apart. Phil Parkak called me back and said, the rowers will have to take the town docks apart. We had people available on that weekend, as we had said we were going to take the docks out that weekend, and we did. You cannot unbolt the docks and leave them in position. And so we unbolted the docks and got them so that they couldn't float away, per request of yours and Don, who made the decision that they had to come out in two-part sections. And that is exactly how the process went down. I went and did exactly what you asked to do, and I thought that Public Works would take the docks apart. They didn't, and Phil tasked us with taking the docks apart, and we did, but with volunteer work. So that's how it went down. I don't think we went around Don Bugbee or you. We were asked to take the docks out. We told you when we were planning on doing it. We did it exactly that way on that day.
And do you recall that we asked you to speak to Don Bugbee to facilitate this process?
We were standing in the park, and you said they had to come out in sections, and I said that we would have people available to take the docks out on that Sunday.
Okay, could you answer my question, please? Were you aware that we asked you to speak to Don Bugbee about?
Right, but Don Bugbee was standing there in the meeting when I was talking about taking the docks out on that Sunday. He was standing right there with you and me and Phil Parkak and Mary Lewis.
That is correct. But
thank you.
He wanted to get. Not only was he going to be involved, but if Ed Adante had to do something, he wanted to speak to Ed also. And it's just, I don't understand. This is not the first time this has happened, Paul, that things happen down with those docks. The docks were extended from the original agreed.
They're talking about removing the docks right now.
Excuse me. They were extended they should have only been 60 feet long, which was agreed upon. Then we noticed this summer they were extended to 75 feet, one of them. We tried to work with you to let us know what is going on, let the Don Bugbee know prior to doing things like this. And all we're asking is that if you do something down there, to please contact Don Bugbee to help facilitate and help you and your volunteers, which we greatly appreciate. The fact that volunteers helped out not only down in Haynes Park, but at Townwoods Park and all the other facilities. There's a lot of volunteer effort going throughout this community. So we would just appreciate it if you want to do something to change the physical nature of that park, please contact Don Bugbee. And
we were asked by you and Don Bugbee to take the docks apart and so that they could come out. And so I kind of assumed that because you and Don were asking me to do it, and I told you when we were going to do it, I considered that as letting you know. And I apologized if I needed to call you again after Ed Adante said, I'm not going to take them apart, you have to do it.
The point is Don wasn't really involved with you, what you said to Ed Adante and Phil. He's supposed to be involved with it. And we would just appreciate it if you would run these things through past him, and he'll help get them done, okay? And that obviously there's, once again, a miscommunication which has caused, I don't know, it's caused...
It's caused you frustration, but it's caused us work.
On people. Huh?
We did the work. We solved the problem. And I'm glad that you appreciate that. And we'll, again, we intend to make you aware of anything that we consider doing. I thought that was what was done there was entirely reasonable. Apologies for not having contacted Don Bugbee. Again, to get the docks out on the day that we said we were going to take them out. I apologize for that.
Okay, fine, that's good. All right, so let's just hope we have better communication in the future. Right, Don?
When I left that meeting, Paul, if there's miscommunication on my part, I'll apologize for that as well. When I left that meeting, I didn't think there was any decision made onto how they were going to take them apart or exactly what they were going to do.
And where they're going to be located once they were out of the water. And we've asked you to contact Don to make sure, because we've had discussion and we've said about 2 docks could maybe be, because all summer long you had 2 docks by a picnic table, one dock on top of another, 7.5 foot by 10, and we said this would be good. Maybe we could take 2 at a time and make piles of 2, so you'd have half the amount of area covered that we have now, because you took out 2, but side by side. So, you know, it's all a matter of if that, all that's thoroughly communicated, because that's what we talked about at the meeting on November 30th, that there would be no miscommunication and no problems. So we're just asking you to, when it has anything to do outside, even to the physical facility in the boathouse, which the town owns, or outside the boathouse, that you or one of the representatives contacts Don Bugby. Period. You amendable to that? Will you do that in the future?
I said that I would, yes.
Okay, good. Okay, any other public comment? Thank you for the public comment. Yes?
Yes, we have more public comment. This is Dave Masco from 178.5 Boston Post Road.
Oh, wait. Could you wait, Dave?
Yeah.
By the way, what's your name? We have a person.
Kevin Roberts.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you. So this is on the topic of miscommunication, which you want to avoid. The reason I wrote the letter I did, and the board asked me to write the letter, is because the question isn't whether the boat club wants to follow the rules and communicate. I'll just say I was the coach of the boys team last spring. I just moved here. The other coach left, went off to Europe or something, and somebody took his place. And Leo here is the new coach now. He's going to be the legacy coach. Multiple witnesses at the November 30th meeting at the park heard Paul Fuchs explain that the storm blew the dock over to the shore, or wherever it was, okay?
Yeah, I had asked how it got
right.
Yeah.
Okay, and that seemed pretty clear, and a lot of people heard this. And the problem is at the meeting a couple of days later, after Mr. Fuchs left, you accuse him of deliberately moving the dock to where it was, in violation of the rules.
First of all, you got this information, you weren't there.
I heard the transcript of the meeting. I listened to it.
At Haynes Park?
No, but I've seen the statements from other witnesses. Terry.
Okay, this is all a communication problem, that telephone line. One person says to the other. Okay, go ahead.
My point is, Mr. Fuchs didn't have an opportunity at the December 2nd meeting to defend himself. Okay, and after he left, he was accused on the record by you of making...
We wondered, yes.
You're thinking that we rowers out there and deliberately picked up the dock, unanchored it, and pushed it in the way.
I don't know.
We couldn't put a kayak launch there. I mean, that's a lot of work. That's backbreaking work to move those docks. Those wooden docks weigh a ton.
But the position of those wooden docks had changed from earlier this summer.
There was a storm.
Yeah, okay.
We can't operate, we can't coach crew, can't coach the high school kids with a dock in that position. There's no way.
Okay, and as I said tonight, that's fine, but just Don also should have been told that there's a problem with the wooden docks from this storm, and that he should be informed about this. And that was, and I asked Don if he knew about it, and his answer was no.
Let me ask a hypothetical question. Okay, I come down to coach at 2:30. Let's say I'm not going to, but I did last spring, or Leo does.
Yeah.
Storm comes, the dock's blown over there. Nobody can practice. until the dock is moved. I'm saying we can't move the dock, even if it's moved by a storm, without Mr. Bugby. What if Mr. Bugby's out of town, he's in Florida or wherever?
Well, that
we can't practice for a
But
week.
okay, Don, would you like to comment?
I'd like a clarification for everybody in the club.
Yeah, Don, would you like to comment?
Your hypothetical is kind of perfect. First of all, the way the dock was, I think the rowing program that day could still go on. It was just in one corner. You had the other dock to get boats in or out, and you had the other side of that dock to get in and out. I don't think it would prevent anybody from doing anything. But that's the rower's call. Just say, hey, Don, the docks blew over there. We're going to pull them back. Okay, thanks. I don't know.
I mean, a text message takes 2 seconds.
Yeah, and he always, even if he wasn't around, he'll respond to text messages, telephone calls. Don is very...
I think a lot is being made in this case more than it should be.
I mean, it's an accusation that the club deliberately moved the dock to prevent the kayak.
I asked if he had moved those docks, okay, and he said no, there was a storm, and I said, okay, and that's fine, that's what happened, but
your email 6 days later says it was frustrating when a few weeks later one of the chase boat wooden docks being used by ORA was inexplicably moved to block one of the two potential locations being considered for a new Haynes Park safe kayak launch without permission. So if you believe Mother Nature did it, Mother Nature didn't intentionally do this to block the kayak launch. That was a human intervention. So you're accusing Mr. Fuchs and our club of, not Mother Nature, us, notwithstanding the explanation, of deliberately going and moving the dock.
I question whether or not
you're not questioning it, you're stating it.
Yeah, okay.
And then it says this appears to be another example of an ongoing pattern, and we have to revisit the rules and the whole relationship. I mean,
well, as far as
the problem,
of course it's a problem, and for years we've been asking representatives from the Old Line Rowing Association to contact Don when things have to be done at Haynes Park, and over the years, Don, would you say that basically that hasn't been happening?
There's been a lot of instances where I wasn't contacted, yes.
Yes. And that's all we're asking you guys to do, you, Mr. Fuchs, whoever the representative is going to be, and we will help to make sure that things are right for not only the rowers, but everybody that uses that park. And if what I said was viewed as an accusation, there was a question, and I'm sorry that it was viewed as an accusation, but I wanted to know if, because there was discussions about using maybe the existing docks there, if these things were moved to make it look more cluttered in that area so that it couldn't be used. Okay, and that.
I mean, nobody that I know in the club talks about cluttering things up for the kayak.
Yeah, okay, well that was the whole idea that, and I guess even though Paul Fuchs apologized for any miscommunication, but there certainly was one again after the November 30th meeting where we wanted a representative to talk to Don Bugby about removal of docks. Just as we said in the spring, we want to talk about have Don Bugby in the loop for where docks are placed. And I'm sorry if that was taken to be an accusation, which I guess you could view it as that, but it was basically a question as to what happened, and I questioned whether or not Paul Fuchs wanted or was involved in the moving of those wooden docks. He said it was a storm. Fine, it was a storm. Okay, we accept that. We just, in the future, we want the Old Line Rowing Association representatives to include Don Bugby in the loop. And it's not that hard.
Bob,
every organization does it in town. But go ahead, Brendan.
Can I just interject here just about the coach's hypothetical, because I can appreciate the question. I mean, Don, let's say that there's some type of act of God, like a scenario like this, storm washes the docks, crew team can't practice. Is it safe to say that the crew team for the sake of immediacy, could move said dock, do whatever, and just simply send you a text and say, Don, hey, in order for us to practice, we had to move the dock. Wanted to let you know. Let us know how we can make it better or what you need us to do to make this right. Would that be just an amenable solution to that hypothetical or any type of hypothetical moving forward so we can move on from it?
Perfect. And in my opinion, because I'm in the middle of this apparently, that as of today, I'm perfectly fine with everybody saying, okay, this is how we're going to do it. And let's move on and let's stop bickering about all this stuff that's going on. For crying out loud.
Good.
Fine. I'm good with it.
So a text is
wait.
okay.
Huh?
A text with him saying, we're taking the docks out today in 2-part sections.
Well, as far as the dock, it's kind of two subjects. But as far as the docks removal, I mean, Paul and company or whomever took them, volunteer time. That's great.
I was told Public Works wouldn't do it. And they weren't coming out unless we did it.
Well, then you should have talked to Don Buster.
I know.
I didn't know about this whole rule. Talked to Don until all this came out. Honestly.
This has been going on for years, but go ahead.
Sorry. I interrupt you.
Okay, like I said, when I walked away from that meeting at Haynes Park, I didn't understand. If I was wrong, I apologize. I didn't understand that there was a solution as to what exactly was going to happen because everybody was throwing suggestions out. So they did something. Good for them. Ed Adante gets contacted and say, hey, the docks are out. He starts complaining about what he's got to do from that point to me. And I'm like, this is the stuff we're trying to avoid.
It's just better communication will avoid all this.
I'm really frustrated with every direction. It's just simple. Just let me know what you want to do. Fine, and we'll do it. That's all.
Okay, I've said my piece.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There's a public comment from David.
Yeah, this is Dave Masco. I'm here with my wife, Ina.
Yes.
We have the property next to Haynes Park, and a couple questions is that you have said in the past that their park officials have repeatedly observed cars parked by the playground at Haynes Park. Number one,
yes.
Who are these park officials? And number two, if they have repeatedly seen it, why didn't they just come? You're just talking about miscommunication. In this case, it seems like communication would have helped if they had just come over and said, hey, can you guys move your car? You're not supposed to be there. Because here, it's not our residents, but the people that live by us, that would have probably alleviated the problem right off the get-go if they had just said, hey, you can't park here.
Okay, thank you. And as we said, once we get the review from the town attorney about this fencing, completing the fencing of Haynes Park, half of it's fenced right now, that we will then contact facilities director, put a plan together, then we will contact all the abutting homeowners about whatever the plan is. And and we hope to have effective communications with everyone. And
well, we did hear that in the meeting today, but my question is, who are the park officials, and how come, if they've repeatedly seen it, how come they haven't said anything which would have alleviated this from the get-go?
Said anything to who?
We said it at some of the meetings.
To the people that were parked there, to whichever cars that they, wherever they saw the cars parked. I'm sorry?
And then apparently landscaping equipment.
So if there's a parked car there, an empty car, a park official supposed to walk around and try to figure out whose car it is?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out who's this park official. Which park?
Well, one of the people that saw all the tire tracks, and this isn't even over by the playground area, right before that, in the picnic area and all, grooves, and it was Mr. Griswold when we took a walk in the spring. It was obvious it wasn't just people parking in there. There were ruts in the right down. I mean, you were on part of that. I mean, and this is just. I just can't believe this is so bad that because of miscommunication, we have these misunderstandings and misrepresentations of what's taking place. And it is the responsibility of the Park and Rec Commission under ordinance number 20-8. We're responsible for all, let me see if I can read it for you on one of these here, that it is our responsibility, and we're taking positive steps to try and solve some of these problems. 20-8 ordinance states that the responsibility for the management, control, and development of towns' recreational facilities and expenditures made in connection therewith is vested in a Parks and Recreation Commission. So, it's our responsibility to try and solve any types of problems, and as Don told you, you contact Don Bugby, and it's just, these will not become problems, okay? It will become...
What would I contact Bugby for?
Okay, wait, Don's saying something. Yes, Don?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Who's on the phone right now?
Dave.
Dave? Dave,
yes.
When I see somebody parking somewhere at any of our parks or beaches where they're not supposed to, I obviously approach the person and inform them of that. If there's a car there or somebody's non-compliant, I call the O-line police.
Okay.
So, and I'm Ina, I'm his wife, Ina Masko. I'm just wondering where you're seeing these people parking now. Are you talking about in the park area past where you put the new, fencing blocks, or are you talking about in the area of the homes next to the park?
Not in the area of homes at all, ma'am. It's in the park property. Okay, which we're aware of all the easements and right-of-ways, and we were going to honor all those, and people have had cars on parts of the park property that cars should not be either parked there or drive-through. So it's just not right by the playground. It's in other areas of the park, and just as we don't want cars on Townwoods Park. The school doesn't want cars on their athletic facilities. We're just trying to make sure that problem is resolved, and we're hoping that come this spring and summer we're going to resolve it.
No, I mean, we understand that. It's just that as people who live there and observe it, and in the letter I sent you guys, I said we are very diligent about going over the ingress and egress routes with our guests, is that we don't see what we're hearing that you guys are seeing. So that's why we're just looking for some information on that, because of aside from the lawn care people that go in there, we're there very often. We're there every weekend from end of March all the way through November, and we don't see the concerns that are coming up. So that's why we're looking for that clarification as to where those concerns are coming from, because they're not observed by us.
Okay, but these were observed by myself, Don Bugby, the remnants of it by Tim Griswold, by John Flower, and we're just trying to make sure that people use the park properly. And that does not mean cars either parked or driving through park property, just as the school doesn't want cars going on athletic fields, just as we don't want cars going on athletic fields at Townwoods Park. And if you haven't seen that, okay, other individuals that I just mentioned have seen that. So I don't know what else to say. And we appreciate your input, and we plan to speak to you in the future about what the plans are going to be out there once we get the attorney's review.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'd definitely like to have an on-site walkthrough with you guys so you can show us where you saw those cars and when the proposed area goes through. I think definitely an in-person on-site thing would be the best. Would be the best scenario for all parties involved.
In person with all abutting neighbors.
Yeah.
I've said it a few times now. I said it over past meetings. This is the plan all along. People want to see what the plan is, but we don't have the plan because we're waiting for the attorney review. We've provided all the documentation, all the easements, all the right-of-ways.
Communications. That's all.
Huh?
The reason we're attending and voicing our concerns is so that we don't have miscommunications later on down the road.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay,
thank you.
All right. Hey, now, we appreciate your time. We know that we kept you a little longer here, but, we just wanted to have a chance to talk to you guys.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay.
Yep.
Anyone else? Not hearing anyone else, would someone like
to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, opposed? No one. Abstained? No one. Okay, thank you for, you've got Elizabeth Reagan's name as being here. Sorry, did you get his name?
I did.
Someone was here. Okay, good. All right, thank you all for attending, and either in person or on the phone. And good night.
Thank you, Bob.
Night. Night.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, end call.